because my mic is working now. So I'm just checking.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Lasser, and I'm the acting chair of the Los Angeles County Veterans Advisory Commission. Welcome to the August 11th meeting of the Veterans Advisory Commission. And at this point, I'd like to, Anthony Allman, are you on board?
I am. I'm here.
Hey, I'm just going to ask you if you could lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Sure. Happy to do that. You could either stand or sit at the position of attention and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So far, so good. At this time, I'm going to ask Stephanie Guerrero, the Executive Assistant for the Military and Veterans Affairs Department, to do the roll call.
Tom Lasser.
Present.
Joe Leal.
Present.
Brittany Moore.
Present.
Patricia Jackson Kelly.
Here.
Joanna McFadden. Anthony Allman.
Here.
Jennifer Campbell. Okay, just gonna go through one more time. Joanna McFadden. And Jennifer Campbell. Chair, there is no quorum.
Understand there's no quorum, and we'll see if everybody checks in afterwards. Thank you very much. All of you in your packet should have the minutes from the 14 July meeting. And if you will, take a brief second, if you haven't, and go through and see if there's any changes, additions, corrections for the meeting, the minutes of the meeting of the 14th of July.
Tom, we can't vote.
Oh, excuse me. We don't have a quorum, so we have to pass on that until we get a quorum. Thank you very much. Okay, next, some of my comments. As you know, originally we traditionally have our retreat in August, but because we couldn't open up due to some COVID restrictions, we postponed that because this is our chance for all of us to meet, commissioners to meet, get to know each other. We have several new commissioners, so this is an important, valuable time for us. And right now, the retreat, we've punted, and the retreat is tentatively scheduled for the 13th of October here at Patriotic Hall in person. More details, more information to come, but you probably saw an email last week that the department put out asking for agenda items and some other information for the retreat so we can have a productive experience coming out of that. So tentatively the 13th of October is the retreat. More on that information later. The other part is event reports. I know in the past year, because of COVID, we weren't out and about like we normally are, going to events, spending time with our supervisor, being part of activities. But we need your report, your activity reports as best as you can from July of last year through the 30th of June of this year. It's for an annual report, and we don't need a lot of information. We made up a form, but some of the feedback I've gotten is that the form is a little too busy. All we need is the who, what, why, where, and when. the date, the location, the activity, and maybe a couple of notes. We'll send an email out with that format so that you can collect all your thoughts, go through your calendars. We'll need them as soon as possible, but definitely before the next meeting. So we'll send an email out with that format so we can collect that data. It's important to the department and it's important to the commission. As we come out of COVID, we're spending more time, so it'll be a little easier. So keep notes. This will be a subject at the retreat, but keep your notes on this information because it is kind of a signature of what we do. Continue to support your supervisor. If there's activities, events that involve the military or veterans, and your supervisor's involved, be there. Or if you find out about any that you think your supervisor needs to be part of, please let her scheduler know and the board deputy so they're aware of it, so they have an opportunity to RSVP or make sure that you're there. As I've mentioned before, my district is the 4th district, and that's where all the major military bases happen to be. Los Angeles Air Force Base is going to have an assumption of command ceremony and a standing up a new command this Friday at LA Air Force Base. New commander coming in, and Space and Missile Systems is being stood down, and Space Systems Command is being stood up. More on that later. I'll send a report out on that. The Coast Guard had their groundbreaking for Extend the Wharf, a new facility for 2 new cutters. And I'm trying to get an update on the Navy at San Clemente Island. Because believe it or not, San Clemente Island is in LA County, even though it's off San Diego. I'll get more information on that. A couple of activities. Again, this is the Military and Veterans Affairs Department. Fleet Week in San Pedro, which is in the 4th district, is 3 to 6 September. And since 95% of that is outside, everything looks to be a go. And the Huntington Beach Air Show is going to be the 1st through the 3rd of October. And there's going to be 500,000 people there on the beach, so that'll be outside. All the military aircraft will be staged out of Los Alamitos Army Airfield. And the LA County Air Show, which the department or the county should be pushing more information out soon, will be on the 28th of October. The Thunderbirds are going to be there, and that'll be at Fox Field in Lancaster. That's my part of the report, and now I'd like to turn it over to our nominating committee and the Commissioner Brittany Moore.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. I know there's been a lot of new faces, but I'd like to submit the nomination for Commissioner Anthony Alvin for Chair of the Veterans Advisory Commission. Like I said, there's been a lot of changeover, so thank you so much, Commissioner Alvin, for stepping up and taking charge. Hopefully we can all meet in October, and thank you all for what you do for our veterans. That is the end of my report.
Thank you. That's very good news. Thank you, Commissioner Allman. We'll have an election at the September meeting, and at that point you can nominate a vice chair from the rest of the group. Thank you. That's an important part of what we do. And now for public comments. Oh, by the way, before I forget, we have a couple of commissioners that just signed up. Stephanie, can you read the roll call again and add to the new commissioners?
Yes. Joanna McFadden,
Here.
Jennifer Campbell,
Present.
Chair, you have a quorum.
Oh, at that time, we can go back and go through the minutes. We weren't able to approve them earlier, but commissioners can go through the minutes, review them real quickly now that we have a quorum, and take a second or two to review and see if there's any additions, deletions, or corrections to the minutes of the 14 July commission meeting.
Chair, this is Commissioner Allman. I just had a quick point of clarification. I'm not sure if it's actually in the meeting minutes itself, but the LACTA presentation that covered the project-based voucher program, there was a mistake. I had emailed with Sander. MacArthur Field Phase A and B. It was reported on the document that belonged to Thomas Safran and Associates. That is incorrect. Those two developments belong to core companies. It was a honest mistake.
Okay. Stephanie, did you note that? You got it. Okay, we got it. Okay, thank you. If there's no other corrections, additions, thank you, Commissioner Ullman. I need a motion to approve the 14 July minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the 14 July minutes? Anybody?
Motion, this is Commissioner Campbell.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second, Commissioner Allman.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. The minutes for the 14 July commission meeting have been approved. Now, item number 6 is public comments, and we have one submitted, and that is Beatrice Camarena. Now, on these public comments, it's limited to 3 minutes, and there are no questions asked. So if Beatrice is with us, ma'am, are you with us?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, you're on. Go ahead and please discuss your subject.
Well, I'm just reaching out to request assistance from all of you at the VA. We have a property for homeless and chronic homeless veterans that it's opening in LA. We received TCO for 10 of those units on April. So from April 30th till today, we only have been able to lease up 2 of those units. So we have reached out to many agencies, many organizations, the VA, out of state. We've been calling, VA Department, Michigan, Washington. It's just been a challenge for us to get referrals for this property. So I'm just trying to reach out to as many organizations as possible. And when I received the invitation for this meeting, I'm like, I want to participate to see if I can get assist, because we're really in need of housing veterans for this. It's a great community. It's just like we haven't been able to get the referrals for the property. These 10 units are non-VASH. However, if we have a tenant-based VASH holder, we will accept the person as Section 8. It's just like the properties for all veterans, and the income limits are at 20 and 30%, so it's very low. So I'm reaching out to see if anyone has any contacts or any referrals. You can probably send them to me through Stephanie. She has my information, and I really appreciate any help and assistance with this, Lisa. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Please share whatever information you have with the commission and with the department, and we'll make sure it gets disseminated out, because that's a very important subject. Thank you very much, Beatrice. Next, we have guest speakers. In this part, the guest speakers are limited to 10 minutes, And our first questions can be asked by the commissioners and the commissioners only. The first speaker is the Veterans Experience Action Center, the VEAC, and it will be introduced by Commissioner Anthony Allman. Commissioner Allman.
Thanks, Chair. The VAC was brought to my attention by a constituent of the 3rd District, and I honestly had no idea what he was talking about. So I figured it was a good opportunity to, get it on everyone's radar. My understanding is that their VA in particular is looking to do enhanced outreach in rural communities. So that's why I was sort of surprised to see LA on the schedule of events, but I guess we'll learn more about that and what the end goal is with VAC. So with that, I'll turn it over.
Mr. Camus? Mr. Camus, are you on board? Commissioner Allman, he might not be on board yet. Can you confirm that?
I don't see his name.
Fortunately, I wouldn't know. It looks like there's someone, I guess, from a 202 number trying to call in. I can see the icon.
Oh.
It looks like somebody's trying to talk, but maybe it's muted. I don't know. I'm not an administrator, so it's hard for me to troubleshoot it.
Yeah, I don't see it here. Mr. I guess it's a he, Camus?
Cajun Camus?
Cajun Camus, are you on board yet? Okay, might be a little disconnect here. Commissioner Allman, can you just briefly summarize what you think the subject is, and we'll see if we can reconstitute this conversation at the next meeting?
Yeah, honestly, I'm not incredibly familiar with the VAC, which is why I thought maybe.
Okay, understand. Good point. Okay, having said that, we'll see here communications with this office. Maybe we can reconstitute it and reschedule it for another month, because if you don't know about it, nobody knows about it. So we'll see if we can redo this one at a later time. Having said that,
actually, I can maybe give some light. This is Anthony Rodriguez with Calvet. Okay. And if you'd like, I can share a little bit about this program.
Yeah, real briefly, Anthony, just to give some highlights here.
So I'm going to read from an email from our chief of the Veterans and Community Engagement Department at Calvet. And this is an email that he sent over to George Dixon. And essentially, the Veteran Experience Office is running several pilot programs across the country aimed at increasing the efficiency of how veterans and their families connect with the VHA and the BBA services. The pilot they are proposing consists of accredited reps with VBMS access, taking, receiving, and addressing and triaging veterans through a telephone system specifically designed to pilot over a 2 or 3 day event, virtual, to be held in September. Alvin has committed to support this effort with all training provided by BEO, CalTAP, and that's my position is Link, handling the back end of it. So apparently there's a program that's coming out. Ruth may have some information on that, but we're basically joining the VA for kind of an outreach, and they've asked for individuals. The way it involves the county is individuals who have the ability to file and submit service-connected disability claims would be contacted. And I understand that there's been an agreement at the county level to assist in some degree. So I think that's what they're looking at in general. I also was forwarded an 8-page PowerPoint presentation which I can forward to maybe to Ruth or one of the group if you're so interested.
Very good. Yes, please forward to that plus that email so we can review it and share it. So the question I have, is this a VA-run program?
It's a VA-run program that has requested assistance from the state, from CalVet. And as you know, CalVet and the LA County Department of Military and Veteran Affairs work together and hand in hand. And so that's where we reached out to the location for their assistance at a local level.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you. Please share that and we'll educate ourselves and maybe get more information at a later date from the sponsor here that sent it out. Okay, next on the subject is Veterans Identifier update from Mr. Dimitri Silva, Esquire of the Military Veterans Department, to be introduced by General Wong.
Good afternoon, commissioners and special guests. Today, you're going to receive a briefing related to the Veterans Identifier. If you recall, a few months ago, in fact, over a year ago, we had a veteran, female veteran, that has requested our assistance in streamlining the process for veterans that are within the court system. And since that time, we have kind of narrowed our focus down on the request and focused on working within the court system on how we can better make the experience for our veterans and identify them early on in the process so that they could have all available resources. And so today, Dimitri De Silva from my staff will be talking to you about what he has learned. He last briefed the commission in February, but since that time has gathered more information. And so he was asked to present today, and we are happy that you're here, Dimitri. And if you could talk to us about what you've learned in the last few months.
Thank you, General. Thank you, Chair and Commissioner. Thank you for the opportunity to come back to you with some news and some updates. It has been a process, a little bit slower than we would like, but progress nevertheless. As General Wong said, within the court system, we did have a great response to the MIL 100 on the criminal side. It was acting as a diversion tool to help our veterans get resources as well as divert potential criminal charges and permanent elements like that. However, when we were when the issue was brought to us, by that female veteran, we did notice that the civil side, the civil proceeding courts, did not have the same robust response. And my hat's to that veteran, because going through this process and trying to get information has been very difficult. I have not been able to ascertain hard numbers in terms of MIL 100 filings on the civil side. I have not been able to really break through a lot of walls with the court system. However, we did identify that the MIL 100 form is in fact available for civil cases. It just doesn't have that same mechanism that is triggered once it's filed. Looking beyond our jurisdiction, we have seen some great success stories. In particular, there have been some partnerships with nonprofits and the courts to facilitate a civil side and a more robust program for veterans once they file the MIL 100 form on the civil side. So working around that, and with that kind of as an example, I've been reaching out and advocating on behalf of the development of a similar program on our side more locally. Thanks to the board deputies, in particular Deputy Alvarez, for putting me in contact with a lot of different individuals who are related to legal advocacy for veterans. I was able to connect with two groups in particular. Number one, the LA County Bar Association, And I did provide them information that we were able to ascertain and the stats around some of these things, and really advocate for the Bar Association taking into consideration standing up a program internally. It was a great conversation and an ongoing conversation. They will be presenting our findings to their board and letting us know whether they have the bandwidth, if you will, to develop something there. So that is a great potential partner. The Bar Association could be our nonprofit partner in this, and they may have the facilities to stand up a program that would help navigate some of these things, navigate the civil side for our veterans. Concurrently, I was meeting with the VA just to talk about talk to their directors of the veteran justice programs and understand kind of what they were seeing. This isn't specific to civil, but it includes civil and criminal. They were able to provide me with some local nonprofits and some local pro bono shops or operations here in LA County. So I have reached out to them. And finally, in terms of our third outreach, we have reached out to Orange County. Their public defender has a program called the New Leaf Program, as in turn over a new leaf. This isn't specific or exclusive to veterans. However, it is a program that helps individuals navigate the civil and criminal side, reduce some of their charges, redact some of their records, and help them move forward and past some of these civil and criminal elements. So we have 3 really good bridges out there. I'm hoping to hear back from them soon, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that one of these partners will have the bandwidth to stand something up here. So that is kind of where we're at. The next step would be is once these partnerships, once these individuals are able to help us out and have the funding, have the staffing, have the capacity to take this on, I'm going to try and connect the dots and see if we can stand something up. In the meantime, as General Wong mentioned and as the commission brought to our attention, as well as the deputies, this started with an individual. I will be circling back with that individual personally and connecting them with the resources I currently have, with the hope and with the plan that they can help her at an individual basis. And we can kind of use that as a short stop to help this individual and have the long-term goal of standing up a program. If it pleases the commission, I will put into the chat 2 links. One is the Mill 100 link from the court system, where it does lay out some of the different court systems that are receptive to the forum, which includes the civil side. And number 2, I'm going to include a link to a nonprofit. This one's out of the New York area, and they've just had a great track record with standing up programs and helping the courts, helping individuals. And they have different programs designed for different things, but they're a shining example of a nonprofit partnering with a government agency in the courts to facilitate change in a positive sense. Thank you very much, General Wong. Thank you very much, commissioners and deputies and all on board. It has been a very inspirational journey, and I'm looking forward to having something developed and helping this veteran and other veterans in the future.
Thank you. I'm an old Army helicopter pilot, and the way I'm looking at this is that we're trying to identify systems similar to the driver's license veterans identifier that we did several years ago, but in the court systems, so that somebody could be identified a veteran and get a more critical treatment based on being a veteran. So that is the center of gravity of what we're trying to do.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that in my own mind as far as
you're exactly right.
With the end zone.
To add on to that, once that identifier is made, the program is designed to facilitate other resources to that veteran, and also to take into consideration the veteran status and some of the mental health things that may accommodate that, or logistical things in terms of deployment, and account for those things as they go through their individual criminal or civil process here in the courts, if that makes sense.
Once we get some success or a product, does this have to go before the supervisors to be implemented?
Not
more of a.
I think
more of an administrative thing.
That's definitely something that we would keep the board, of course, apprised of. The examples that we have seen in the past have really been between nonprofits and the court systems. We have seen individual examples like Orange County, where the public defender stepped in and kind of worked with the court systems to facilitate that. So we have seen legal entities like the public defenders or the DAs, but most commonly, Chair, we have seen nonprofits partner directly with the court systems. And it becomes somewhat of a two-way street. The court systems will be better prepared in terms of identifying the MIL 100 form and getting that information to the nonprofit. And in the other direction, the nonprofit has the staffing, the legal counsel to help those veterans navigate the court system once they file the MIL 100 and advocate on behalf of them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'd probably have to absorb it better if I saw it in writing, and maybe we can do that as an addition to this. But I know this has been an episodic issue with the commission and harder to solve than I ever thought it would be. And I know you've been working on it hard and diligently, but this is the closest I've seen us come in the past couple of years that we've been working on this. So thank you for that diligence and to keep us posted on that progress because I see a little light at the end of the tunnel here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the commissions for Mr. Dimitri? Thank you, Mr. Silva. Thank you very much. Moving right along, I'd like to turn it over onto the agenda to the Director of the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs, General Wong.
Thank you, Chair. Again, commissioners and special guests, before I start my budget summary presentation, I have some good news to share with you. This morning, we were made aware that we will be a county top 10 award winner for our outstanding outside the wire transition assistance program that we partner with U.S. Vets. And the award ceremony itself will take place in October and in the boardroom. And so, yes, thank you. I see the chat, and thank you so much. We are very proud of this program with U.S. Vets. We're in 13 community colleges across LA County, and the whole objective is to work with veterans in the community colleges to make available to them mental health resources and resources available through our department, and to make sure that these veterans and family members are getting the services and resources that they need in making the transition from the military back into the civilian community. During the course of this program, and this is our second year, we have served over 800 military veterans and their families, and have really been able to file a number of veterans claims, which also helps them in their transition process. So I'll be sending out more information to all of you and to keep you apprised. We will be presenting our program to the Quality and Productivity Commission, which is part of the Executive Board Office, within the next 2 weeks, and we will be considered for one of the top 3 awards for our program. And I do want to thank CalVet, and Anthony Rodriguez is online, and please share the great news with the leadership up in CalVet, because through them, we received the grant money for this program. And so we were given a 2-year grant, and we had 1 year of a 1-year grant, and now we are starting our second year of the 2-year grant. So kudos to CalVet for giving us the grant, and now we will be recognized by the County of LA. The second thing I'd like to report is I I sent out a memo from the executive board office. The topic is county commissions. And in this memo, it states that starting on 1 October, all county commissions will begin to meet in person. And therefore, as Chair Lasser talked about earlier in his president's message, we will be having a retreat in October. So that is really good news. For those individuals that may have a question about whether or not they can opt to meet virtually, according to the Brown Act, we cannot meet, commissioners cannot meet virtually unless they are going to share on the agenda their the places where they will be viewing or virtually attending the meeting. So that is an option, but there is a caveat to that, as I said. So starting October, back to somewhat normal business, meeting in person here at Patriotic Hall and up on the 8th floor, and we will be adhering to public health protocols at that time, whatever they may be, because they change. And also, we will be required to adhere to social distancing. So with that, I'd like to go to the budget summary. I was asked to give a budget summary to the commission, and for fiscal year 21-22, and I am sharing my screen with all of you. So I will start with the second slide. Okay, that's the one. That was the one. Okay, let me begin. So our appropriations for our budget, we have the number one appropriation is towards salaries and employee benefits. And we are appropriated for 39 staff members at $5 million, a little over $5 million. Those staff positions and the salaries are based on what in the civil service arena are based on the highest level within that classification. Occasionally, there are some what we call salary savings from that budgeted or appropriated item, and at times we have used money from that designation to fund different things that are needed by the department. The second appropriation is called services and supplies. And services and supplies fund things like rental fees for various offices. It includes our burial for indigent veterans. There are some veterans that do not qualify for veterans burial benefits. And so those items are funded through this appropriation. There's also something called taxes and assessments. To give you an example, because we are on Figueroa Street, we have what we call Figueroa Corridor, and we are a member of that organization, and we receive services from that organization as a member, and we pay our fees. So the gross total for our budget, and our gross total for the budget is a little over $6 million, $6.5 million. The next slide. The next slide is a pie chart that just shows the level of appropriations, just to give you a picture of what that entails. And then the next slide is the revenue itself. The revenue for the department through state subventions, meaning that we receive funding from CalVet based on a magic formula. I call it a magic formula because CalVet decides how much funding each county gets based upon the productivity of that particular office. And so this year we're getting $550,000, and that varies annually. The other thing that we receive from the state is license plate program funding. This past year we received $61,000. When you get a veteran's driver's license plate, part of that money goes toward funding programs within counties. And so that was our allocation for this year. We also get money from the state from something called Medi-Cal cost avoidance. And that is a program where we place veterans that are receiving general relief and Medi-Cal funding, and we place them into the VA medical enrollment system, which this past year we received $42,000. We also received grant money, and as I already pointed out, through our Outside the Wire program, we received $189,000 this year from the state. And then we have miscellaneous funds that come in, around $1,000. And that money comes to us from the entertainment industry is one area. There is filming that's done here at Patriotic Hall, so we do receive some revenue. And then the total revenue for all of that is around $800,000. The next slide, please. This slide is just another pie chart just to show you the majority of funding in revenue that's received by the department. The next slide. This is a total net county cost. You will frequently hear the supervisors and especially the CEO talk about net county cost. What it costs the county to support the various departments. The objective of the county is to reduce as much as net county costs as possible and to receive as much federal and state funding to offset the programs and services provided by each of the departments. So to give you an idea of what our net county cost is, it includes salaries and employee benefits, services and supplies, as well as some what we call intra-fund transfers. We receive a little over $400,000 a year from the Department of Mental Health for our Navigator program, which is a program that is implemented through our Veteran Services Division. All of that comes out to over $6 million. So less the revenue that I talked about on the previous slide, our net county cost is a little over $5 million. Next slide. And this is okay, department program summary. Okay. So our three different areas, three divisions in our department is Veteran Services, our building operations at Patriotic Hall, and then of course the administrative or the support structure for the department. And so this slide shows you the division of the money that comes into the department. The majority of course goes into services through our Veteran Services Division, which helps veterans with their claims, benefits, and services. And again, just a visual pie chart to show you how the money is divided up. So that concludes my budget summary. And if there are any questions from the commission, I will take them at this time, and I'll be glad to share my slides with the commission.
Okay, any questions? Thank you, General Wong. Very good. And having said that, anything else on the on your report?
No.
Okay, that's it. Thank you. Some items for the commissioners to consider for next month's agenda. I have two. One is the election of the voting for the new chair, and a discussion of the upcoming retreat. Any other commissioners have any other items they want to add to next month's agenda?
Yes, this is Commissioner Campbell. I'm working on trying to get some people to stop in virtually and speak with us, really focusing on wellness. It's something Commissioner Allman and Stephanie Cohen and I had a conversation about last month. And so I want to integrate, there's several programs that really focus on health, wellness, self-care, and that kind of stuff. So I'd love to be somebody to be able to provide a presentation. So I'll work on getting you more information, but I'd like to be able to put that on the agenda for next month.
Okay, so a guest speaker to discuss that subject for September. Is that how I understand it?
Correct, yes.
Okay, yeah, work it out. Let us know. That's a good one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else on a subject or a topic that we can discuss, review at the September meeting?
Chair, this is Commissioner Allman. Just a point of clarification. When we go back to in-person meetings, can presenters still provide a virtual presentation, or does the Brown Act require them to be there as well?
That might be some new territory to explore, but in the past, they were physically there with their staff and or slides and gave a presentation in person. But you bring up something we might have to check on since we're going into new territory starting in October. We'll have to, Commissioner Allen will have to do a little research on that.
Okay. And if there's no other suggestions, there's also a new program. I think it's called the ETS program that we may want to get a briefing on as well.
What is that again?
It's called the ETS program. Apparently it's a pilot project where they're following service members through their transition into the veteran community, and they're doing outreach. I believe it's a year before separation, and then following them into their veteran status to provide support. So it's more like a mentorship type program for transitioning service members. Might be something that might be good to get a briefing on it.
So the program is under the umbrella of VPAN, the Veteran Peer Access Network, and it is one of the subcommittees. So Jim Zenner is overall in charge, and that's one of the subcommittees that he does. And there's a couple of people there that can do presentations, and it's just one of the different aspects of the VPAN program, which is the countywide program that all of us are participating in.
Anthony, Calvet Anthony,
yes.
Could you get some information to us so we can track that down and get an invite out or have him contact us?
What was the question? I'm sorry, I heard you cut out.
Could you give us a contact or somebody that might be able to speak to that subject, and so we can get it scheduled? Now, I got helicopter ears, so I'm hard of hearing. Did that sound like ETS Echo Tango Sierra?
Yes.
Is that
that's correct.
That's correct.
Okay. Does that anybody know if that stands for something?
Yeah, it's an Army term typically, Chair, end of
I know what that
transition
stands for.
service. So,
I didn't know if it stood for anything in particular for this particular program, or it was.
no, it does. Right now, a lot of the members of VPAN are currently taking part in the certification process. There is an extensive training behind it, and next meeting, I want to share updates in regards to the Veteran Peer Access Network, like Anthony was sharing, that it does have its subcommittees, that its intent, its purpose, and how it all works together. But I will later today kind of give you a brief summary of what SD1, for example, is doing. But I'll present a little bit more next month in regards to VPAN and the wonderful role that it's already played and continues to play.
Okay. Anybody else have anything for September? If not, we're gonna. Sounds like we have 2 guest speakers and a couple other subjects that we'll have on the agenda. Thank you. And moving on, as we get close to the end, is for the good of the order. And this is where the members of the Veterans Advisory Commission may comment on agenda or non-agenda matters and ask questions or give directions to staff. And if I can ask, as we're getting toward the end, if you have anything to contribute, just make it short and sweet so we can move on. And I'll start off with Joe Leal. Anything for the good of the order?
As of right now, just as I mentioned a little bit brief ago, I want to thank the County Board of Supervisors and General Wong and Military Veteran Affairs and Anthony and everybody involved in the Veteran Peer Access Network for SD1. They're reaching almost about 500 veteran cases just within SD1 that range from claims, suicide prevention, mental health, employment training. And imagine that's just for SD1. SD5 is right around almost 500. And when you count all the SDs that were awarded the Veteran Peer Access Network funding, you'd imagine that all those cases coming in, thanks to a lot of you here that share the referrals and give us referrals. And most importantly, we give them to you. And we have quite a bit that we've pushed to General Wong's team, George Dixon, that are helping out with education benefits, those that are barely learning about claims, those that are impressed that from a Monday, we send them out to the claims representatives, and on Tuesday, they're getting a phone call, if not the same day. It used to be back in the days where it took several years, and I'm sure many of you remember that claims took several years for you to get. And then now those are things of the past, and they're moving very quickly. So I just wanted to share the importance of what's being done in SD1, to include everything being done by our supervisor with all the events, the outreach for veterans. Recently, I was honored to be doing work with the Showers for Hope program that's out there, performing those showers and reaching out to veterans from those canyons and those out of sight, out of mind. So I'm always happy to be out there doing that outreach in depth in the trenches. But that's essentially what I got for good of the order.
Okay. Thank you very much. Next, Commissioner Moore, anything for the good of the order?
Not at this time, Chair.
Good. Thank you. Commissioner McFadden, anything for the good of the order from the 2nd District?
Yes, I just wanted to make the announcement that the mayor was able to make his presentation earlier today, announcing the first ever veterans IT training program in partnership with Microsoft and TikTok and Boeing and other companies. So the program training will actually take place later on this month. I have a flyer that I'll be able to socialize with others who are interested in having veterans sign up for this cohort. The cohort is 25 people is the anticipated max for this particular one, but who knows, it could grow depending upon the needs. So I'll definitely socialize that with the group, but it was the announcement took place earlier today.
Thank you. Where did they do that at?
In San Pedro at the, oh my gosh, why am I about to blank on the, yeah, I'm like, what is the name of the ship, the Pacific battleship? Battleship
Okay.
Iowa in San Pedro,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, very good. Yeah, send that out to us electronically so we can share that also. Next, Jennifer Campbell, anything for the good of the order?
Nothing for me.
Excellent, thank you. Commissioner Allman, anything you'd like to add?
I just want to make a quick apology to the 5th District. I think I mentioned in my VAC comments that we don't often think of LA County as being rural. And I was reminded that LA County does have rural areas. So I apologize. I'm just a kid from the Valley. So I apologize.
I saw that. I was wondering what that was all about. I missed that. Thank you very much. Okay. In adjournment, I'd like to turn it over to General Wong for some memories of a fallen veteran.
Excuse me, is it possible that I could give a report? This is Commissioner Jackson Kelly.
Well, you told me you were going to leave in an email, so I thought you dismissed yourself.
I said at 2:30. So I thought I was going to go first, but if it's okay, if it's not, it's okay if it's not.
No, go ahead. I thought you were off or had something else going on, according to the email that you sent me. So yeah, go ahead if you have anything you'd like to add.
Yes, I'd like to add that Commissioner McFadden and I met with Supervisor Mitchell, and we discussed some of the goals for our commission for veterans. I also attended the dedication of the building down in Norwalk for the Navy. And I attended the the meeting this morning, which used to be USC's meeting, and it was a very informative. And they also had in the women's veteran group, they discussed some of the new initiatives that they have. I've been working with the Alexis Lunningham to create a program at the VA where we will be escorting women veterans to their appointment. So you will be getting additional information about that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You know, Colonel Kelly, that's good. Everybody, those events that Commissioner Kelly just mentioned would go on a report. We're going to send you a format, but everything that she mentioned that she's done in the last month will go on a report. It will go to the department, and that's collected, and General Wong uses it for a overall general report on the activities of the commission. So more on that. We'll send out a little short, easy format for everybody. But thank you very much. Okay, I think we've got everybody else on that. And I'm going to turn it over to General Wong as we get ready to adjourn.
I have 2 adjournments this month. One is for Saginaw Grant, U.S. Marine Corps veteran. He was a Native American actor, best known for his roles as a Lone Ranger, the world's fastest Indian, Community, and Breaking Bad. He was an award-winning musician, powwow dancer, motivational speaker, and the hereditary chief of the Sac and Fox Nation in his memory. The second veteran that we will be adjourning in his memory is Jerry Yamamoto. This was submitted by James Maddox of the Vietnam Veterans of America. Jerry Yamamoto was an advocate for veterans. He was president of the Vietnam Veterans of America National Board of Directors in 2005. He is also known for his driving force behind the Los Angeles County Vietnam Veterans Memorial Highway project on Pacific Coast Highway. And I don't know if you remember seeing signs. I remember these signs on PCH where you will see Vietnam members that will be memorialized. And he was inspired when he took a trip to Ohio, who had a like program. And so he contacted one of the assemblymen here in LA County to write the necessary state legislation for this to happen. And so therefore there's 4 9x5 signs along PCH from Ventura County all the way down to Long Beach. So we adjourned the meeting in memory of Saginaw Grant and Jerry Yamamoto.
Godspeed. Our next meeting is going to be the 8th of September, and that'll be virtual. The retreat is planned for the 13th of October. It'll be here in this room, the MacArthur Room in Patriotic Hall on Wednesday, the 13th of October. And that wraps up the August meeting. And I ask for a motion for adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn the August meeting?
Commissioner Campbell making a motion to adjourn.
Commissioner Campbell, thank you. Do we have a second for an adjournment?
This is Commissioner McFadden.
Go ahead.
Commissioner McFadden, seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, that terminates the August meeting. We'll see you next month. Thank you very much.